Yeah, yeah. Hallelujah. He is risen. And you say, indeed. Let's do that one more time. I caught you off balance. He is risen.
He is risen indeed.
Yeah. Indeed he has. And we'll talk more about what that means for you personally today. As some of you know, I was raised by my grandparents part of my life, and our family was not a church-going family, didn't belong to any church. But every year, my grandmother would wake me up out of bed, and she would say, "We're going to a sunrise service on Easter." And it just became part of my life and my tradition, and it's such an important day for me to celebrate the resurrection of Christ. We did meet for a sunrise service earlier today, well attended for a sunrise, and I can't tell you how happy I am to be here with you today. So welcome very much. We're going to begin with a choral proclamation that he has risen. It's entitled "He Arose," and I'm going to invite the fellas. Look in your hymnal. Is it number 294? It's 294, and you'll notice that there are 3 verses. Fellas, after the quartet has sung the 3rd verse, I would invite you all to stand, fellas only, and join in the refrain for verse 3. Okay? Ladies, are you clapping for the quartet or for the fact the fellas stood up? Friends, let me invite you, if you are able, to please stand for our call to worship. Today, of all days, if I say only good morning, and you say only good morning, it is not enough. It is nowhere near enough. For Jesus Christ, God's shining light, who was tortured, broken, and buried, is risen and alive in God, alive among us now, today, evermore, and always. Let's stay standing and sing together number 288, Christ the Lord is risen today. of all days. Why don't you turn to your neighbor before you sit down and say, hallelujah, he is risen. It is very moving for me this morning to see all of you gathered here. I know that we have been scattered. I know we have been in various places over the last few years. But to see you come together on this day of resurrection, it makes me hopeful. It makes me proud. And it makes me emotional. Thank you for being here. Please join me in our resurrection prayer. Almighty God, we give you thanks that on this grand day of days, you resurrected the crucified Jesus from the dead. In this, you defeated the power of death and established your reign over all of life. Give us the courage and the grace to celebrate your resurrection victory, so that we might see your power made manifest in our world. May we give ourselves more fully to living out the truth of Jesus' resurrection, not only at Easter, but every day of our lives. We ask this in the name of Jesus, who also taught us to pray, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. so I didn't know if you knew this, but Blake is going to have, his wife and he are going to have a baby within 2 weeks. And for Blake to be here for us today is a big deal. And I wanted you all to wish he and Caitlin all the best in welcoming their new baby home. Thank you. I got a new idea. If the quartet can start and restart, I was thinking, why can't I do that with a sermon? I could do that. If it's not going very well, I'll stop, I'll back up and start again. I'm going to take that privilege. Well, I want you to know a few things happening in the life of our church. Peggy Stoiber is a member of our church, and she had a stroke a few months ago. And she's just struggling so much with it. And I just need you to be in prayer for Peggy. She's so strong and her spirit is there, but after a while, it wears on a person. And I want you to pray for strength for Peggy. Some of you may know either Cindy Gore or Marilyn Hunke. And I need you to know that Cindy's mom, Marilyn Hunke, passed away this last Monday. And it was a rather unexpected passing, although Marilyn had been struggling with a number of medical issues over the years and receiving treatment. But as Cindy said, she walked out the door that day, and we fully expected to see her the next day. So please, wanted you to know of that and keep them in your prayers as well. On your way out, you will notice these little butterflies, origami. No, I didn't make them, but you know who made them. And we thank you, Susan. She said there are about 200 of them back there, so if you can get to the back quickly, you might be able to get one today. They're in various colors. They're butterflies, symbol of resurrection hope. And I hope that you will take one, set it on your windowsill or on your desk or wherever, and let it remind you of the risen Christ and the hope that's there for your life today. I'm going to set it right up here. Also, I want to let you know that today is Carrie's brother's heavenly birthday, as she would say. Keith Jakobson. How did I do? It was a good job? Jakobson? Check with Cindy after service. But it is Keith's, as you know, he passed away a number of years ago. But it is his heavenly birthday, as Carrie would say. This would be the day that they would have been celebrating another birthday in Keith's life. And fair to say that he is sorely missed. And our hearts go out to your family. There's another announcement, and to be honest with you, I had promised to make this announcement last week, but sometimes there's all these pieces of paper up here, and some get lost, and I just acknowledge that I forgot last week, so I have invited David Stoltine to please come up and make that announcement in my place, because we know we will get it made.
Well, good morning and happy Easter to all of you. This is a brief report Brief is the key
Brief?
word here, yeah. Brief report from your building and grounds crew, and this is with regard to our courtyard project. Over the past several months, lots of people have come up to me and said, gee, it'd be a lot of fun to get a bunch of volunteers together to take the old bricks out of the courtyard. So be careful what you wish for, because that's exactly what we're going to do.
All right.
Next Sunday, following our worship service, so around 10 o'clock, we will gather in the courtyard to remove bricks. So you have our permission to wear your grubby old blue jeans and your favorite flannel shirt to church.
How about an invitation? We want them to come dressed in blue jeans. As a matter of fact, let's call it Blue Jean Sunday.
Blue Jean Sunday.
Is that okay?
May I continue
Please
here?
do.
Okay, thank you. So now, where was I?
I just thought Blue Jean Sunday was a good title.
Okay,
for it.
Blue Jean Sunday, remember
But no,
that.
please go right ahead.
Oh, is that right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. There's that thing about starting over here?
It's a theme today.
Okay, it's today's theme. So, next week, following worship, Blue Jean Sunday in the summary there. So, a number of people have also asked, what are you going to do with the old bricks? They will be available to those who want them. There'll be a sign-up sheet in the lounge for that as well. And that's about it. I guess we will be serving lunch. The building and grounds crew will serve a well-balanced meal of brats, burgers, and chips. That's okay? Okay.
I'm not going to say anything.
That's an invitation for that as well. So next week, after church, work in the courtyard. And as long as you're all in the working mood, on May 7th is our church spring cleanup day. You're invited to participate in that as well. We rake and we sweep and we wash windows and we stand around and talk about what good workers we are mostly. So that's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. So glad to get that news out there. One more announcement. I'd like you to know that on last Sunday, while we were here in church, a little boy was born. He weighed 4 pounds, 2 ounces, and he was a strapping 17 inches long. His mother, Michaela, and his father, Fernando Alvarez, decided to name him Maxon Michael Alvarez. And he will be called Mac, M-A-C-K, for the rest of his life, in tribute to his uncle, McCullen Schnell. The day in which McCullen passed, I was at the hospital earlier in the day, and Michaela and Fernando had just been in. We did not expect McCullen to die that night, but she had shared with him some very wonderful news that day, that she was pregnant and that they would be giving birth to a baby girl or boy. And as you can imagine, Mac just lit up. And he started talking about all the fishing and hiking that they would do together. And he was so excited. It was later that night that he passed. And yet he had received the joyful news earlier in the day. And for that, we will be forever grateful. Is this not a beautiful little baby boy, Maxon Michael Alvarez, 4 pounds, 2 ounces, and growing? Keep them in your prayers, would you please? And oh yes, grandparents and great-grandparents are doing well. Kids, come on up. Come on up. We've got to talk. Oh, I got a bunch of stuff today. You're not going to believe what I've got. Let me sit right here. Let me sit right here. Oh, mercy. Hey, why don't you all come down here and grab one of these? Come on. Yeah, make sure everybody has one. Come on. Come on. Yeah, they're chocolate eggs. I thought you might like one. They do look like footballs. Did everybody get one? Come over here and grab one. Come on. Come on. Did you get one? There you go. You can stick around if you want. Yeah, please do, honey. Yeah, thank you, guys. Did everybody down here get one? So guess what today is? Anybody have a guess? It is Easter. I'll put this back here. It's Easter. Did anybody get an Easter basket today? Did you? A lot of Easter baskets.
My sister picked really hard, and she couldn't find it for the
Did you have to find it? But you know, looky here. In an Easter basket, there are lots of things. Why, sometimes there's these bunnies, these peep bunnies. How did you know that? Speaking of peeps, they have the candy peeps in them. Sometimes they do that. Did you need, hi. Hi, honey. Oh, yeah, I love you too. I love you too, more than you know. Here you go, sweetie. Okay. Oh. Church is dismissed. Was that not the best thing in the world? So, sometimes they have these chocolate bunnies. Yeah, sometimes they do. Pass this down to Lila and Zoe. They like stuff. And guess what else you put in Easter baskets sometimes? Eggs. Look, I've got Easter eggs here, and I wanted to show you something. Where did that go? I had a little. Where'd that little bowl? Oh, you got it? Thank you. I want to show you something. Why do we have Easter eggs on Easter?
because it's Easter.
It is Easter, and you see all the colored Easter eggs we have? Huh? Did you guys see them? Now, there's you always have Easter eggs. Now, what happens when you have a mother hen and she sits on the eggs for a few weeks? Yes? It hatches. What does that mean, hatch? The egg cracks and a little chick comes out. That's what hatch means, right? And that's why that's right. That's what happens with these things. But you know, a real Easter egg, see, there's a difference between just eggs that are colored and Easter eggs. Do you see all the colored eggs I have here? Do you know what the difference is between a regular colored egg and an Easter egg? Yeah. These are all colored. There's a purple one, a yellow one, blue one, pink one.
You couldn't cover them if at least a different color.
Yes, son. They don't come with candy. Well, that's a good thing to know if I'm your age. But I'll show you a difference. You want to hold this for me? Why don't you stand up and hold this right here for me? And kids, you watch. We'll just take one of these eggs. By the way, I think I did a very nice job with the eggs this year. But watch what happens when I crack this egg. What do you think will happen?
Egg yolk.
Egg yolk, yeah. No? A chick? No? Let's just see what happens. We'll see if this is a real Easter egg or not. Okay? You guys can come over here and look if you want. Come on over. You can't see back there. Come on over here. Come on, kids. You want to be able to see. So here's an egg, and let's just see what it is. You ready? Uh-oh. Man. That's not a real Easter egg, is it? Man, let's try another one. Let's see. How about you're supposed to hard boil them? Some people do. What about this one? Hard boiled? I don't know. Somebody, can I crack this on somebody's head? Huh? I just need something hard.
She wants to.
You want to? I just need something hard. Okay, you come here. Well, is it okay if I crack it right here? Okay. Wait, did you see how gooey this was? Oh, that's awful. But you want me to do it on your head, huh? Okay, let's try. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh. What's wrong with this egg? It's not cracking. Oh, honey. Look at this egg. Look at this egg. It's empty. There's nothing here. You can have this. There's nothing in that. That's how you tell the difference between a regular egg.
You blew the egg.
I did. And that way you know that it is a real Easter egg. It's empty. Just like the tomb of Jesus was empty. And what you can find out, a real Easter egg, when you crack it open, there's nothing there. And it reminds you of the tomb that they put Jesus' body in. And he's not there. He has gone on to live life like a little chick. When it's hatched, it goes on and lives life. It's empty, just like the grave was empty. And when the angel went to the tomb, you know what the angel said to the ladies that were there? I know you're looking for him, but he's not here. He has risen. It's empty. Who else wants me to crack an egg on their head? Feel this one. Do you think I should use that one? Oh. You think I should use that one? Huh? That's pretty heavy. Let me try this one. Let's see. Wait a minute. Here we go. Somebody grab that egg. It's getting away. All right, let's try this. Here we go. Oh, it's empty. It means it is an Easter egg that reminds us that the tomb of Jesus was empty. He is alive. Try the blue one. Try the blue one. Uh-oh. It's an Easter egg, and it reminds us of what? Jesus is alive. Well, you just take that with you. And remember that because he's alive, we can live too. Here, honey. Thank you for the hug, by the way. Well, guys, I tell you what, I got a secret for you. I'm going to invite you to go back to your seats. And at the end of the service, we've got a really exciting announcement. Think you can wait? All right. We'll see you then, and you guys go ahead and take your seats again. Thank you for coming. You want the peeps? Here's the peeps. Here's the peeps. No, you can have it. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Here, babe. You can have this little guy. Somebody want to try?
So,
Mark, the Gospel of Mark, is the earliest of the four Gospels. To be honest with you, it's my favorite of the four Gospels, and there's many reasons for that. But Mark has 16 chapters, and it's always straight to the point. And one way you know that is, scholars have pointed out that Mark uses a word, a particular word called immediately. And immediately they got into the boat and went to the other side. And immediately he was healed. And immediately they picked up basketfuls of bread and fish. In Mark, there is this constant fast motion. And Mark always cuts to the chase. In this section, at the end of Mark's gospel, Jesus has been buried on Friday, and 3 women go to the tomb on Easter morning to anoint the body. What they find is a remarkable sight. The heavy stone has been rolled away from the entrance to the tomb, and a young man dressed in a robe is sitting inside. He speaks to the women and says, "I know why you're here. I know who you're looking for. He is not here. He is risen." Surprisingly, Mark ends his gospel there without Jesus appearing to anyone, unlike the other gospels. In Mark, you see, we have no ending to the story. But I think that's just the point. We have to fill in the rest of the story. Sing with me, "The Strife is Over," number 290. Would you please? Number 290.
Thank you, friends. Please be seated. We read about these lottery ticket winners that win millions and millions of dollars, and yet there's been so much written about them of what their lives look like after they win. So when George, some of you know my best friend George, when George and I play the lottery twice a year when it gets close to $1 billion, we get concerned. We don't want any lottery winnings changing our lives. As it turned out, we were winners in one of the largest jackpots in the history of humankind. And so naturally, we were worried about how it was going to alter our lives. I called George and I said, "What are we going to do now? We just won." "Parlay it," he said. He said, "We're playing with house's money." Then he asked me how much we had won. I told him $3. We had 3 of the winning tickets on one of the largest jackpots in history. "I don't think we have a lot to worry about," he said. Movies have the same sort of epilogues to them, don't they? Movies, you could probably mention a bunch of them. Certainly the old movie Grease. At the end, you know, it rolls what happened to the people as they grew up and moved on. And Dragnet's an old TV show that used to talk about what happened to the criminals and the victims and all of that. Karen and I are going to head down to Illinois in July, and I'm going to go to, of all things, my 50th high school reunion. I'm really looking forward to that because I want to find out the rest of the story. I want to know if Scott is still in prison. I want to find out how Ann's life worked out after she got pregnant at 16. I want to know if Michael was ever able to overcome that mental illness that he had that seemed to limit his life so much following the death of his mother. On our website, I guess it's probably the same with a lot of people, on our high school website, it's got a couple of lists. One list is about who's coming, and it lists all the people that's coming. So you can see if your old girlfriend or boyfriend is coming. Another list is all the members that have passed away. And I can tell you, it is shocking, just shocking to see how that list is growing. We'll see, as one of the clergy in the class, we'll see if they ask me to give the invocation. I don't know if they will or not. They have a bit in the past, but as part of that responsibility, I have to read the names of all those who have passed, and I can tell you that list is getting burdensome. What I really want to say is I'm interested in finding out what's happened to all my classmates. How have their lives turned out? I suppose that's one of the major reasons we go. We go to these things. Personally, I'm a kind of guy that likes things all tied up into neat little boxes and bows with the endings that read, "and they lived happily ever after." But sometimes we just don't know. Sometimes we learn about fellow church members, friends, neighbors, classmates who have been diagnosed with cancer. And we lose track of it. We don't know how that illness has worked out for them. Or someone who joins the church. We hope that they will find a loving, caring, supportive family of faith, but you don't know how it's going to go. Or when somebody gets married. You know, people will often say to me, "You know, we've been married 46 years.
How's that worked out for you? I know people have been married 46 years, not very happy. I know some that are just ecstatic like the day they were born. I always want to know the rest of the story. What happens? I want to know what's going to happen with Michaela and Fernando, with Caitlin and Blake. I want to know when they welcome these little babies into their world. Right now we say, oh, isn't that great? Call them up in a few weeks or around 2 o'clock in the morning. Ask them how they're doing. I want to know the rest of the story. Don't you? Don't you want to know?
I've made a commitment to this church. Haven't really said much about this. I've made a commitment to this church to be here until they welcome their new settled minister. Because I want to know the rest of the story. I don't want to leave now and have Randy send me a text 6 months from now. I want to stick around and find out the rest of the story. You know, there are a lot of things like this in the Bible that are open-ended and unfinished.
Like, can somebody tell me whatever happened to that prodigal son who took his inheritance and went off to Chicago and blew it and then came back? His hat in his hands and said, Dad, will you take me back? Just let me feed the livestock. Somebody know what happened to him after the father embraced him with grace? You'd like to think that his life turned around, but do we really know? Or how about that victim on the road from Jericho to Jerusalem who was beaten and robbed and left to die? And the priest passed by and the Levite passed by, but then this hated Samaritan stopped to help, bound up his wounds, patched him up, put him on his horse, took him to the Hampton Inn and paid his bill. And we wonder, what happened to that victim? Did he appreciate what had been done for him enough that he began to look at his life and change and become a good citizen? We don't really know. Or Zacchaeus, who came down out of that tree when he saw Jesus, and Jesus said, today I'm going to have dinner at your house. Not many people had that privilege. When Zacchaeus was touched by that moment, did it have any lasting effect? I don't know. I wish I knew, because I like things in tight, meaty little packages. And that's what we find here at the end of Mark, don't you see? In the other gospel accounts, Jesus starts appearing to people. He sees Mary and Mary. He speaks with Mary Magdalene at the tomb in the Gospel of John. In the other accounts, he sees people on the road. He's on the road to Emmaus, and there's these two fellows walking. And Jesus appears among them. By the way, what happened to them? What was the rest of that story? Who knows? The Gospels talk about all the people that Jesus appeared to, and we get more of the story. But in Mark, we don't have that. The angel says to the women, He's not here. He is risen, and He has gone on ahead of you, and we'll see you later. That's how this gospel ends. It says to me that Easter is not the end. Easter is not the way in which we wrap everything up very nice and tidy. Easter is a declaration that He is not here. He's down the road, and He's calling back. And He's saying, come on. Come on, Barb. Come on, Tom. Sue, come on. Come follow me, and let's write the rest of the story. Because He is no longer in the tomb. Because it's empty, you can have life and you can write a new story. It's called resurrection hope. You think life has ended. You think that's all there is. You think it can't be any better. He's calling and saying, come on, let's write the rest of the story together. That's what Easter is about. It's about us living in Jesus and Jesus living in us. Did you get that? It's about us living in Jesus and Jesus living in us. It's the relationship that we form, right?
That we live with Him and He with us. Easter is not about a lottery ticket. Sorry, George. It's not about being a lottery ticket where only a few get the grand prize. It's just an invitation for all of us to come and participate in the Easter story of resurrected hope and begin to form new endings to our stories, the rest of the story, because Jesus has gone on ahead and calls back to us to help write the end of our stories. If you were thinking today that yours couldn't be any brighter, if you were thinking, yeah, I'll go to church, it's what we do on Easter, I'll listen to Jim, and I know at least I'll enjoy the kids' time, and then I'm going to leave and have some ham and sweet potatoes. If that's all you have to look forward to, you're not hearing it. He's saying, come on, follow me. I'll show you where life worth living is to be found. And together we'll write the story you never thought you could. He is risen. Thank you, friends. Take your hymnals and let's sing our closing hymn, 298, The Day of Resurrection.
So, kids, let me ask you a question. Did you all find Petros today? I just can't, for those of you who don't know, Petros is our church mouse, and he moves around the church, and we never know where we're going to find him. His name is Petros, which is Greek for Peter, and we thought St. Peter's was a good way to name him, but today it's in a very difficult spot to find him. He's way up here on this light. So, anyway, Jody, would you come up here for a moment? Kids, I just want you to know that we have a special, yes, watch the egg down here. Go ahead.
Okay, so after service, we have a special surprise from the Gill family. They hid some eggs out in the lobby. You might have seen some kind of fruit out. They're not just for decoration.
Oh.
They're for the kids to find. Everyone gets 2 eggs, and then make sure you don't, if you see one, if you already have your 2, if you already see one, just let other ones, maybe help your younger brother
Yeah.
or sister or
Yeah.
cousin. And when you get your 2, come and find me, and you get an extra special treat at the end. So just make sure that you come and see me after.
Well, when are they going to go?
After church service.
Right
It's
after.
All done.
There's going to be a slow regress here. Do you think they should go now?
I think we could do that.
It's your call.
I think we could do that, Miss Gill.
Oh, okay. Okay, kids, come to the center aisle. You can come out around and then come to the center. Come to the center aisle. And we're going to have an Easter egg hunt. And be careful now you don't run over the little ones. Thank you. Okay, you guys walk on out. Adults, I wish you something this morning, on Easter morning. I wish you the life that is grounded in resurrection hope. May you know the joy of His presence and the reality that He has risen, just as He said. Go with God. Happy Easter.